Good morning, historian fanatics! Welcome to UHT, the U.S. History News Team, the only news channel that won't make you fall asleep. I'm your anchor, Kafina Wright. Today's topic is about conflict, wars, and people who got through them all. I thought ice cream could solve lots of problems, but here's Nicole Wild telling us a problem that couldn't be solved by ice cream: the Civil War.
This is Nicole Wild reporting about the Civil War. The Civil War was a fight between the North and the South. The cause of the Civil War was the South wanting slavery and the North was against it. At the time, North was referred to the Union and South was referred to the Confederate. President Abraham Lincoln declared war in 1861 and North won in 1865. 11 Southern states fought and 23 Northern states fought in the Civil War. After war, about 620,000 people died fighting. The reason there was war was slavery. The South had slaves and North was against it. After war, slaves were normal people and were granted civil rights. One person who was important during this time was Abraham Lincoln because he declared war and he was in office at that time. And last but not least, the effect of the Civil War was no more slavery. Now let's hear Michael McBlain about the Revolutionary War.
Hi everyone, I am Michael McBlain. Today I will be talking about the Revolutionary War. The war started because of taxes on the original 13 colonies. The leader of the Patriots was Commander George Washington. The estimated amount of deaths is 4,000 for the Patriots. The war started in 1775 and the war ended in 1783. The war's first battles were in Lexington and Concord, Massachusetts. Half of the reason that the colonists won was because the French helped and won in revenge. George Washington crossing the Delaware River was one of the biggest achievements for the Patriots. An effect from the taxes was the Boston Tea Party. After the war, George Washington became the first president of the United States. George Washington became president because of his bravery and respect during the war. Now let's hear Angel K with the Cold War.
This is Angel K reporting for U.S. History News Team. I will be telling you about the Cold War. The Cold War lasted from about 1947 to 1991. It lasted about 44 years. The Cold War was caused by World War II. The United States fought the Soviet Union. The World War started the Cold War, but the United States and Soviet Union get along now. The Cold War was worse than the Great Depression. About 300,000 people died during the Cold War. Dwight D. Eisenhower was the leader of the United States during the Cold War in 1947. The English started calling it the Cold War. The name first appeared in 1955 in an essay about what was happening. Now here's Sophia Perry with World War II and Pearl Harbor.
This is Sophia Perry reporting about Pearl Harbor and World War II. The Pearl Harbor was attacked at 8 o'clock in the morning on December 7, 1941. The Japanese fighters were the ones who attacked the American naval base near Honolulu. More than 2,000 American soldiers and sailors had died that day, and 1,000 people were hurt. Later on, the United States, Germany, Italy, and the Japanese allies all declared war. So then there was a World War II. World War II began on September in 1936 and ended on September in 1945. It lasted for 6 years straight and was a global war. During the war, the United States had dropped atomic bombs on the Japanese cities. During the war, over than 60 million Allies had died, and over than 12 million Axis had died. Adolf Hitler was a leader of the Nazi Germany during the World War II. He was accepted to serve Germany in August 1914. Now here's Kylie with the Civil Rights Movement.
This is Kylie Blum reporting on the U.S. History News Team. I'm reporting on the Civil Rights Movement. We will begin with the Civil Rights Movement. The Civil Rights Movement in the United States is about the campaign of African Americans. Because of their skin, they did not have the same rights that white people did for a long time. Much of our memory of the Civil Rights Movement of the 1950s and 1960s is embodied in the dramatic photographs, newsreels, and recorded speeches, which America encountered in daily papers and nightly news. Thank you for listening, and now we will move on with what happened in the Civil Rights Movement. When most African Americans think of the Civil Rights Movement, they have in mind a span of time beginning with the 1954 Supreme Court's decision in the Brown versus Board of Education. It outlawed segregated education, or the Montgomery bus boycott, and culminated in the late 1960s and the early 1970s. John F. Kennedy was the president in 1961. When he became president in 1961, African Americans thought most of the South were denied the right to vote and barred from public faculties. John F. Kennedy had a saying on the Civil Rights Movement. Now here's Taylor Hunyett with 9/11.
This is Taylor Hunyett reporting with 9/11 News. 9/11 was the deadliest day in history for New York. Over 340 firefighters died and got hurt in this attack. 3,000 people also were hurt or died. There were 4 planes that crashed in this day. One in the Pentagon, one in a field in Philadelphia. The others were in New York and hit the Twin Towers. The terrorists hijacked the planes and then crashed them into their destinations. They tried to get the people of America scared for their life. Bin Laden is the reason Al-Qaeda is attacking the U.S. 14 years ago, ISIS didn't exist. Less than a month after 9/11, U.S. troops invaded Afghanistan in an attempt to dismantle Al-Qaeda. People lost their loved ones, businesses, and homes because of the attacks. Many people died or got severely hurt because of the buildings smacking on the ground or because of the smoke getting into their lungs. People in the U.S. are now terrified of more attacks happening. My important person in 9/11 is Officer Morris Smith. She is important because she risked her life to save other people from dying or getting hurt. She saved dozens of people in the World Trade Center. She received the New York City Police Department Medal of Honor. And now back to Kafina Wright.
This is Kafina Wright reporting the most depressing time of all, the Great Depression. The Great Depression started in 1929 and ended in 1939 for the U.S. There are many causes for the event, like the stock market crashing on October 27, 1929. But other people believe it's because most banks lended money to other countries, but the countries didn't pay back. Also, another belief is people overspending way too much. One effect from this event is banks having to shut down. Another effect from this event is businesses losing money and having to fire workers. Also, people lost their money and lost their houses, so they would build shanties, a house made out of cardboard, broken cars, and wood scraps. The Great Depression wasn't a pretty scene either. Adults and kids were on streets with signs looking for jobs. And when families lost their money, there would be long lines just to get food from a shelter. One person who worked to change this was Eleanor Roosevelt. She helped found an organization to help students get part-time jobs. She's the reason lots of families didn't go hungry. Well, thanks for watching UHT. Join us next time when we talk about the richest time in U.S. history, the Gold Rush. Have a historical day.